see if this works. It's so exciting. We're all learning this at the same time. So let me do this, and let me click this button over here. And I think you should be able to see the little, I don't know what's going on now. You should be able to see my PowerPoint slide. Georgia, can you see the PowerPoint slide?
I can.
Oh, perfect. Now, what's fun is on my screen now, I can't see the chat or any of that stuff. So Ashley, you're going to have to interrupt me if somebody says something on the chat or wants to bring something up. Can you do that?
You got it. I'm here for you.
You're the best. So here's what you're going to want to have with you is the PDF of the manual, which looks like this. And I think we've sent that out to everybody, right, Ashley? They have a link to that.
That is correct.
All right. So it would be helpful if you have the PDF maybe open in a tab. We're going to do some stuff in there. Now, because we're experiencing the shift the way we're experiencing it, I'm not necessarily going to go page by page in the manual. There are activities that we're going to do. There's some stuff in the manual that I've altered based on the current state of the world right now and what's going on. So just know that you know, if you're one of those people that goes, I want this page by page, well, you're not going to get that. So I'm going to give you what you need here over the next couple of days. The other thing I'm going to recommend you have with you is a copy of this book right here if you've got one. So if you have one, great. It's an extra added resource for you. It is not required for the class. Now, what I want to say is your Market Center leadership and your region has taken a stand for you to be able to offer this to you for free. And I just want you to recognize them. And maybe even if you have a chance, send them an email of gratitude or something like that to be able to make it so that you as an agent can jump on here and participate in what is, this is the only one of these going on in the country that I'm aware of, is a full workshop on how to help you through a shift. So I think you owe a little gratitude to your OPs who are helping pay for it, and to your region who's paying for it, and your leadership who got you here. Let me walk you through how this will work. So because we're on the webinar, excuse me, because we're on the webinar version of Zoom and not the Zoom call, when you come in, you're automatically muted, and the way we communicate is a little bit different. So if you have a thought or a question or want to do something, what do they do, Ashley? They raise their hand, and you can see that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you raise your hand when I'm asking for engagement, because the way this workshop works is I do want dialogue with you. I want to be talking back and forth. So if you have something that you want to add during that, just raise your hand, and then Ashley, when I go to that, you can unmute them and tell them kind of who's speaking. Would that be okay?
That sounds great.
I love it. Ashley's the best rum. I'm telling you. In all of North Florida, Ashley is the best rum. So it's and now I've met both their kids as we were practicing this over the weekend and all kinds of stuff. Let's talk a little bit about our schedule. So we'll start every day on this same link, the one you're on right now. 922 people, Georgia, are on here right now. So we will start on this link today, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 o'clock, and we'll always be done by 10:30. Now, I'm never going to keep you longer, and if we're done, I'm going to let you off early, except I think we're probably going to use the full 90 minutes each time. Now, I want you to use the chat box to communicate. Just know, though, that because I'm sharing my screen, I don't think I can see the chat box, so I don't know what's going on. So, Ashley, you'll have to let me know the comments and things people are saying. And then today, I think I'm actually going to end up giving you homework, which will be so exciting. You'll have a little bit of homework. It'll take you about 5 minutes. And then on Thursday, Ashley, is our plan still to do our little kind of mastermind?
Yes, absolutely.
Great. So as we wrap up on Thursday, we're going to hear from some of our top agents, OPs, and team leaders who've gone through a shift before so that they can help you. All right. So for those of you who don't know me, by the way, my name is James Shaw. I live in Safety Harbor, Florida. That's Pinellas County. And I've been with Keller Williams now 15 years. I started on a team outside Chicago. Then I got into leadership. My first leadership opportunity was in North Florida. I don't know what I was technically called. We'll just call it assistant team leader in South Tampa. Then I became a team leader in Cary, North Carolina. Now, the thing about becoming a team leader in Cary, North Carolina was I got there January 4th of 2009. Now, we in Florida had experienced a shift in 07, 08. We had seen that. It didn't hit the Carolinas till 2009. On January 4th of 2009, our market center in Cary, North Carolina had 110 associates. And at that time, that's right around normal, maybe a little bit below the normal average size market center. 60 days later, we had 89 agents. And it wasn't that they left to go to other companies. It's just that the market had changed and they hadn't set their business up in a way and hadn't acted fast enough to be able to adjust. They got out. And I've been in love with the Shift book ever since then. That Shift book came out in 2009, and it's been important to me ever since then. And so that's why I teach it. And in fact, Ashley, we did this in North Florida, if you remember, over the summer. Do you remember that?
We did. We did a Shift tour. We went to 4 different locations.
We did. And some of the people I'm sure watching were in that. And I bet you if we did a Shift tour now, if the CDC back the house,
We would.
we could do it at Amway and just fill the place. Well, this is our version of it today, and I'm excited to help you. So here's the plan is I'm going to go through this section by section, bring in some stuff in the book, and help engage you as well. And so, Ashley, we're going to do our first engagement right now. And I'd like to hear from 2 or 3 people as to why you were carving out 90 minutes every day for the next 4 days to be in here. What is it that's important to you to get out of this class? Ashley, would you see who raises their hand and invite them to share what they desire to get out of the next 4 days? Oh, nobody? Oh, there's Patrick. I see Patrick's getting unmuted maybe. Is that what's happening, Ashley?
Yeah.
Patrick?
Can you hear me?
I can. Tell me, what do you want to get out of the next 4 days, and which market center are you from?
I'm in Lakeland and Market Center 376.
Good for you.
Well, it's crucial. The next, I've been through the Shift before, like 2008. I was there kind of with you in spirit, James. And so I haven't picked the Shift book up in how many, a decade, right? Really haven't picked it up. And so I wanted to go back through it, and I'm going to get out of this week the ability to really dive deep into the book club later. So this is really kind of a deep dive and make sure I've got all the principles stuck in my head to continue on through and pick up where we pick up again with the Shift Club, with the Shift Book Club. That's my goal.
Love it. Love it, Patrick. Thank you so much. Some reason, that's awesome, and we'll do that. Hey, here's what's fun, Ashley. Now I see the chat. I have no idea why. I saw Keith posted he wants a game plan for the next few months to keep the business growing and going. And absolutely, we definitely want to do that. Ashley, is there anybody else who wanted to share what they'd like to get out of the next 4 days?
Yeah, we've got a lot of them. Let's go to Jessica Coward.
All right, Jessica, you're going to be our last one on this. So if you all didn't get a chance to talk, don't worry. We're going to give you a chance. Jessica?
Yes, so I'm 1053 in Gainesville. I also went through the Shift before as well in Gainesville, but it was a very different Shift. And so what I would like to see is, especially when you were talking about, doing things differently, seeing what there is that's going to make it different, because I think that there's differences here in this particular time that we all need to be very cognizant of. And so I'm very interested in seeing how you would apply the models of the Shift book to what's going on now and what we do to kind of slightly change those things.
I think you've nailed it, Jessica. This is not your tradition. The strategies from the book still work, and the stuff we can implement still will help us. And yet what's causing it and what we're seeing is different than what we're traditionally used to, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome, Jessica. Thank you. So actually, that's going to be it for now, unless there's something, a comment or something like that you absolutely want to have said.
Oh, I'm good.
All right, cool. So the thing first I want to remind us of is we've got to make sure that our mindset is in the right spot and that we're thinking about this in the right way. And so if you have the PDF, I'm on the page 7 of the PDF, where it says real estate is a cyclical business and what comes up must goes down. And that the shift is always around the corner, even in the best of times. So the thing to think about is in our local markets, whether you're in Gainesville or Lakeland or Orlando or Jacksonville or wherever you are, our local markets experience shifts throughout the year. And we don't freak out about those, right? There are times of year where we sell more homes than other times of year. And we're used to that kind of change in the market. What's happening now is that we are in a time for a lot of markets where business will start to pick up, right? The spring and summer times for many of our markets, business will start to pick up. And yet here we have this uncertainty around how COVID's going to impact us. So I think one thing we've got to do is just make sure that we remember that the things that we talk about today and the strategies that we look at today are really strategies that work in any market. Connecting with our database is relevant in every market. Talking with people is relevant in every market. Hold on one second. Let me see. There we go. Where are we? Yeah, that's where I want to be. So there, it's relevant in every market, and we just want to make sure we're always engaged with people. Now, over the next couple of days, we're going to look at two different kinds of shifts that we can experience. And the first one, the one that we're most familiar with, is an economic shift. And I think most of you would agree that we were instantly 2 weeks ago put in an economic shift in this country. When the government starts telling certain businesses they have to close and things like that, that puts a shift into the economy economically. And I want to look at some data and some things that we might want to consider as we look at an economic shift. So actually what I had Ashley do is she sent me the Language of Real Estate report for North Florida. Now this only goes up through February. And I want to have a conversation about this. And if you want to kind of jot numbers down, it's page 9 of your student manual, page 9. And I encourage you to always pull local trend reports. Your market center probably does this for you as well. And look at differences over time. So I'm going to share some numbers with you. And then Ashley, we're going to invite people to share what their observations are, okay?
Okay.
So I'm just looking at the region as a whole, North Florida. So I recognize that what the North Florida number says may not have anything to do with what's going on in Tallahassee, right? And what's happening in Tallahassee may not have anything to do with what's happening in Daytona and so on. And yet it gives us a good idea for that section of the state what we're experiencing. So here's what we found. We found that year to date, closed units in North Florida was up 9.9% in February. That's good, right? We'll take that. Closed volume was up 13.8%. So closed units was up 9.9% and closed volume was up 13.8%. Now I'm going to ask you, so be prepared, what does that tell us? Now then listen to the next category. The next category is listings taken. And listings taken in North Florida year to date was down 11.2%. Down 11.2%. And volume was down 3.1%. Now that tells a story too. We're going to talk about it. Listings sold though, Georgia, I know you like this one. Listings sold up 10.9% in North Florida, right? So I know you like that. What's that?
Love that.
Yes, and listing sold volume was up 23.2%. So listings sold units up 10.9, listings sold volume up 23.2. Tells a story. Contracts written. Contracts in North Florida up 5.6% in units and volume up 14%. So again, it's 5.6% and 14.2%. Last number I'm going to give you is GCI. That's your commission. And your commission year to date up 14.5%. Now, Ashley, I know some people, you have smart people in North Florida, and there's 1,024 people watching this, so I know we've got smart people. What are the ahas, the lessons? What do these numbers tell you? So if someone's going to raise their hand, Ashley, you're going to unmute them and let them share.
Dave.
Dave, you're up.
Hey, James, my obvious one is that the 90-day, our rear view mirror numbers are very positive, but the front windshield, so listings taken volume, are something we need to be very aware of.
So the stuff that we're getting paid on and our business opportunity, which is what we did a while back, that stuff's good. The stuff that's going to determine our income later has fallen off a little bit, Dave. Would you unmute him
Right.
again? Yeah, thank you, Dave,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave, let me ask you this. The numbers I just gave are from February. What might March's numbers look like once the month is over and we have a chance to tally the numbers when it comes to listings taken?
So because listings taken is down 11.2, that's going to suggest that come through March, April, our closed, so our listings sold, listings volume is going to go down as well.
It could. And we're also, is it possible, could we see another dip in listings taken, Dave?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you. All right, Ashley, who's next?
Let's see. Let's go. Trying to find another. Okay. Mark Donahue.
Mark Donahue. Hello.
What's up, Jay?
There you are, Mark. What's up, buddy? Oh, you were mute. There you go. Go ahead.
Hey, man, it just tells me that we, especially in my business, have gotten lazy and have just decided to work with buyers because they were the ones who were driving the market. And in the shift, we know we have to get back to being listing based, and we just have to rebuild that muscle.
So here's the thing, Mark. I think, is it possible that we had some people that were riding the market, right? And just whatever good was happening, it is, you know, we were riding it and making it happen. And literally, this was a day that we woke up one morning and all of a sudden everything was changed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. Ashley, is there one more or are we good?
If you want another one, I have plenty that have.
Well, I'll take one more.
Okay, let me scroll down and find somebody. All right. Ashley Parr.
Hi, Ashley Parr. I love Ashley Parr. How are you?
I love you too, James. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. So what are your
Good.
observations from these numbers?
So, and I'm looking at this from a team perspective. We really have to focus on our listing game. So not just getting listings, but knowing what to say and what those scripts are looking like. Because I think the scripts are going to change a little bit as, you know, we're trying to get more listings. Just it's going to be harder.
Yeah. Well, because there's going to be fewer to get, Ashley. And so we're going after the same stuff. So our skill set has to rise, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you, Ashley. I'm sorry Disney's closed. It will reopen soon, I promise. Okay. It will reopen soon, maybe in July. Okay. So let me walk you through something that I think is really important. And again, here's what we're doing. I'm going to bounce around out of the PDF of the material for the class and the shift book because we're in unique times. So I'm walking through this a little bit differently. If you have your shift book, page 34, and Ashley, if there's somebody who can help, like type in the page numbers that I'm talking about, that'll help them too. So shift page 34. And I want to read something to you that is effectively what Dave, Mark, and Ashley all just said. In shift page 34, it says, when a shift hits, initially everyone gets hit equally. The market doesn't discriminate, so all boats float lower. What happens first is equal and without choice. What happens next is unequal and determined by choice. So we are in the third week, give or take, of this shift that we're facing. And make no mistake about it, it is a shift and it will be here for a while. If you think we're going to just ride this out and then wake up on May 1st and everything is going to be pink, fluffy unicorns dancing on rainbows, I think that you might be mistaken. We are in a shift. Now, the challenge is it might not feel like it because you still have closings and stuff like that. So what happens is we all get hit equally right away, and we've got to make a decision to do different things. And one thing we've got to pay attention to is what happens when an economic shift hits. So I want you to think about a couple of things when it comes to that. And that is what things would tell us that we're experiencing a shift in market. Ashley, we're going to unmute again. If you were looking at data, what data points tell us that we're experiencing a shift even when it doesn't necessarily feel like we're experiencing a shift because our income's up? Ashley, let me know who wants to speak.
Okay, I'm waiting for some hands to be raised.
Well, we got smart people in North Florida. I know that much.
Okay, here we go. We got one. David Frazier.
David Frazier in Orlando. Hello.
Okay, it won't let me unmute David. Not
Oh,
sure
that's
what's
too
going
bad. Well,
on.
David, you can, oh, what's going on with my slides? There we go. David, you can type something in the box maybe.
There we
Oh, there's
go.
David right there. I see him. Go ahead, buddy.
How are you, sir?
I'm awesome. Good to hear your voice.
Thank you. Good to hear you as well. And I'm not hearing the Disney fireworks from my backyard, so it's kind of odd right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Obviously, you're going to see more inventory coming on the market and staying on the market longer. Your days on the market is going to increase when you start having a purge of inventory coming on the market.
Okay, so I'd like you to write that down. And by the way, David, I would even argue that if we don't see an increase in inventory, we should still plan to see an increase in days on market.
Correct.
Yeah, and most, including, I think we're all in the same MLS, right? Aren't we? Or most of us are in the same MLS.
Right,
At least where I am in Tampa, Lakeland, Orlando, Daytona. Are we all in the same MLS? I think so. And I know that other parts of the state in your region are not. I know that our MLS here, Tampa Bay through Orlando, says they are not going to do anything to adjust for days on market. So days on market accumulate as normal, right? I think that's correct anyway. If not, I just made it so.
Well,
So
our market, if it is TOM, those days on TOM will not count on active days.
oh, okay. Yeah, right. So if we take it temporarily off, then it wouldn't hurt. If you leave it though as active, and there are people still buying, then those days on market would accumulate. You're right, David. I love it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Someone wrote in the chat box, an increase or even lack of an increase, you'll see longer days on market. Oh, that was David. Yeah, thank you, David. You're so smart. Tallahassee has its own MLS. I understand that. And if you go temporarily off the market, days on market doesn't count. Okay, Faith says lenders are going to become more strict with credit scores for FHA loans, right? That whole market is in a state of flux, no question. So that can have an impact on us as well. All right, what else? What other things might tell us a shift is coming, even if we don't feel like one's coming? Ashley, do we have anybody else with a hand up?
Yep, Trina Searcy.
Oh, I see her right there. Trina, you just have to get unmuted and then we'll be good. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Bless
it's not
her
working for her. Oh, there she is. Hey, Trina.
Hey, good morning. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to raise my hand. I was just trying that we're not on the same MLS up here in North Florida, but you've already addressed that, so thank you.
To 1,000 people in the region, what do you think, no wrong answers, would be a sign that the market's slowing down?
Back on the markets.
So stuff comes back. I love it. Thank you so much. I love it. Here's another thing I'm looking at. This is one I've been watching, is looking at the data from showing time. Has anybody noticed the data from showing time? And I have it pulled up right here. Well, I did have it pulled up right here. Isn't this so fun? Hold on once. There it is. Okay, I had it right here. And they're releasing the data every day. And here's what it says. The 7-day moving average of showing requests is going down. Now, daily traffic ticked up one day last week, and yet there's a decline in showings of about 50% in most of its markets. So if we see a decline in showings, could that show maybe a decline in the market? Now, I want to be careful, and I don't have a crystal ball. I don't have all the answers. I don't know how all this works. Here's the thing, though, I want you to think about. I actually don't know that we're going to see this massive price decline. I don't know that we're going to see prices fall off the table here, because this shift is different from last time. The last shift, we had this increase in inventory. Well, actually, what's happening in Georgia, what's happening this time is we're seeing actually an already tight market in inventory get tighter, right? Because at least that's what I'm noticing, and I don't know if you guys are paying attention to this, where some people are taking homes off the market, and so we already have tight inventory that becomes tighter. And then, do we still have active buyers? Well, of course, everyone shout out the answer. The answer is yes. Just type it in your chat box, right? So we have active buyers. So what happens in a tighter inventory market, the buyers are still super serious. I don't know what might happen with prices. We're going to have to watch it, and it all depends on how long this lasts. Okay, Ashley, is there anybody else that had their hand up? Ashley? That's all right. She might be
Sorry,
doing something.
it was on mute. I had
Go ahead.
I had Christina Montoya.
Well, let's hear from Christina because she's smart and I like Christina. There we go. Christina, what you got?
Yes, good morning. I'm thinking appraisals will be a problem too. We won't have as many houses to compare to, so they will be a big problem.
So it could be, and I think that the banks are going to have to figure that out, and they've done some stuff with buy appraisals already. And you're going to have to show why you believe it's worth what it's worth, right? Christina, good point. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. The thing to think about, is this, that there are many different economic factors that are at play during a shift. And right now we have some things that help us and we have some things that are hurting us. So some things that help us, interest rates. Like interest rates are still historically low. I know that market has had a crazy ride over the last couple of weeks, and yet interest rates are still our friend right now. Now, here's some, and that helps an affordability issue. Here's something that's not our friend, and that's the 3.3 million people who filed for unemployment last week. So uncertainty around jobs and employment, that could have a long-term impact as well. I want us to remember, though, about why people buy and sell. And I want you to, in your chat box, I have the chat box open on my screen, and I'm going to read some answers. What are the reasons why people buy and sell real estate? Just type answers in the box about why people buy and sell real estate. Divorce. Why are we have to get so negative first? Divorce, job change, and death were the first three. Why is North Florida getting so negative, right? Growing family. Marriage. There we go. Kids, family size, moving for job, moving closer to family, job transfers, schools, empty nest. All these things are coming. Job change, accumulation of wealth, retirement. They're all coming in, coming in, coming in. Ashley, did you notice, though, the first three were negative? What is up with that? I don't know
What's up
what
with
that's
that?
about. I don't know. Some of the regions snuck in. Here's the deal. Do all of those things still happen? Are people still getting married or getting divorced? We might have divorces go up. I don't know. Are people still getting jobs and losing jobs? Yes. Are people having babies? Wait till like December. You want to talk about babies? Wait until December. We're going to have a baby boom in America, right? And all of these things, here's the thing I'd like for you to consider. All of these things happen in any economic climate. And it's our responsibility as real estate agents to stay in touch with our database, to connect with them so that when they need us, they reach out to us, right? Those are really, really important. Now, my guess would be this, that the way this shift from an economic standpoint impacts, it might be different in different price points. There may be a different impact for different price points. And I'm curious if anybody has thoughts on that. Like, have you already noticed in the last 3 to 4 weeks a change, either more demand or less demand in specific price points? If you have, type in a thing in the box or raise your hand and we'll hear from you. Karen says higher price points. I don't know if she means that they've slowed down or what. I'm seeing that lower, hold on, now I got to use the chat box. This is so exciting. Lower price points have been almost unaffected in all, right? So that's a value then that you stay in touch with your people. Somebody says people want to move closer to their family members. I love that. Yeah, if you are in vacation homes, that might have an impact. That market might slow down. Tanya says less demand for $700,000 and up. So again, it might vary by point. Absolutely. Ashley, is there anybody with their hand up who wanted to talk?
I do not have any hand raised.
Got it. Thank you. So the other thing to think about is there are other things that can impact the market in specific areas. So for example, if I'm in Orange County and basically tourism has come to a halt, does that have a massive impact on what happens in the Orlando area? And the answer, of course, is yes. And I'd love to hear from, I know I got a ton of you from Orlando there, that either work in second homes, you have your clients and customers are people who are cast members at Disney or work at one of the other tourism-related industries. I'm curious about what you're noticing for either the second home market or for the people who work in the tourism industry in Orlando. If you've got a thought, raise your hand, and I'm going to call on you and hear some thoughts. And it says in the chat box, I got a couple answers coming in. Ashley, let me know though if somebody raises their hand.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't have any. Well, here comes some. Hold on.
All right, go
All
ahead
right.
and just we'll open up one or two.
Okay.
Let me know who you choose.
All right. Youssef Roman.
Joseph, go ahead. You're still muted. There, you're unmuted. You're in Orlando?
Orlando, yes. So definitely
Okay, and what are you seeing and noting?
buyer confidence. I think for those that work in the hotel vacation industry that are buyers, they may have some hesitation due to their uncertainty of work.
I saw that not only are the theme parks closed and stuff like that, I think Disney's closed all of its hotels. I don't know if Universal did the same.
Universal.
And then I saw, go ahead.
Universal, SeaWorld, most of the hotel industry is
all shut down. Yeah, I saw that even my favorite property there, which is the Grand Cypress, Hyatt Grand Cypress, they've closed. And so that has a massive impact. Absolutely it would. Thank you. Ashley, was there one more hand raised?
Let's see what we got here. Hold on, let me scroll down. Well, it just says Charlie. I'm not sure.
Charlie. We're going to go to Charlie, and I think you would know who you are because you raised your hand. Charlie's still muted. As soon as Charlie gets unmuted, you'll get to talk, Charlie. Oh, there you are. Oh, we lost you, Charlie. I'll give you one more shot at it, and then I'm going to move on. All right, Ashley, I'm going to move forward. So now I want to go to our beach areas, our beach communities. Those of you that have business that are, second home markets or, again, more tourism markets. So I know we can have Daytona all the way up the Atlantic coast, any of our beach communities. I want to hear from some of you. Type in the box and tell me what you're experiencing, or raise your hand and we'll hear from you. And then next, I want to go to our two major college towns. Well, one major college town and then Gainesville. So I want to hear from some of you in our beach communities. So Ashley, anybody have their hand raised?
Not yet.
Okay.
Wait, here we go. Here we go. We got one.
Investments in Sarasota. Go ahead. Are you unmuting? Leslie?
Leslie, yep.
All right, Leslie. Go ahead and unmute yourself and share with us where you are. Where are you, Leslie?
I'm in Englewood, Florida. We're just south of Sarasota.
Yeah. So what's happening for you guys down there?
Well, oddly enough, people who are stuck here are wondering what their house value is and wondering if there's any bargains out there. That's the calls and emails I've been getting this weekend.
So people may be looking to buy an additional investment properties or make a move themselves.
Yep.
Love that. Interesting. Okay, good. And then Melanie says I think Melanie, I don't know where Melanie is, a hesitation to purchase beachside condos until the stock market improves, right? So if we've got retirement community, something like that, I could absolutely see that. That's great. Anybody else actually have their hand up in one of our beach communities?
Let's see, Sherry.
Okay, Sherry, you're going to be our last one on this, and then I'm going to the college communities. Sherry, what do you have? She's got to unmute. I don't think I can do it. Yeah, I can't.
I'm unmuting them, but I don't know why it's not.
There she is. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Sherry, what you got?
So Sherry Norwick, Lake Ranch, 373. I have clients that own investment properties on the beach, A&Ds, and they're basically out of business. I mean, which is in the height of season, they're normally full with waiting lists. They're all empty now, and they think they'll be empty for the next 2 months.
They might be. So how is that impacting them and their decisions?
Well, it's impacting them obviously significantly financially, and it's yeah. I mean, obviously they're just figuring out how they can get by without the income they were projecting for this year. So yeah, it's had an impact, obviously financially, emotionally. And what I can do is be there just to talk. And,
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead and mute her for me, Ashley, because we got an issue with her line. And Sherry, I think you're right. And I think she nailed something, which we're going to get to. And that is, in a shift, our responsibility is to be there for our people. At the end of the day, whoops, gosh, that's so fun when it does this. At the end of the day, our responsibility is to be there for our people. I love it. So beach communities we've heard from. Now I want to go to the college towns. So if you're in Tallahassee, or what's the other one called?
Gainesville.
Yeah, that one. If you're in Tallahassee or the other one, I want to hear from you as well. What are your observations about how that's impacting your market? Who wants to start us off? Either type in the box or, oh, UCF. Thank you, Mike. If you're on east side of Orlando, thank you. I appreciate that. East side of Orlando, absolutely. UCF would have the major impact too. It's like the third largest university in the country. So thank you. I apologize. So if you're in one of those college communities, any hands up, Ashley?
Yes, we have Brenda Cole.
Brenda Cole. Okay, go ahead, Brenda. Where are you?
I'm on off University Boulevard near University of Central Florida.
At UCF. So what's happening there? Because the universities are closed.
Yeah, well, and you have a lot of students who are in rental properties, and they all had sort of part-time jobs, usually in, the hospitality industry, waiters and waitresses. And we actually got a call from our tenant last week who said, our tenant said, we can't pay our rent this month because they lost their jobs. So I can imagine that's probably happening all over in regards to students who no longer have that casual part-time job to go to.
Yeah. People that own investment properties might see an impact on that, right? And I bet it's possible that they've gone home, they're asking, can I get out of leases early or whatever? Thank you. I think it was Brenda. Thank you for sharing. Who else? Do we have another hand raised?
We have Jessica.
Jessica, where are you?
Unmute me.
Yeah,
You're unmuted, Jessica. Go ahead.
I'm unmuted. Okay. First of all, I just wanted to let everybody know that Gainesville is the better college town. So just so we're clear, we're going to establish that first.
Okay.
So Gainesville's a little different than, of course, Orlando, because we have a lot of agricultural areas around us. We have a lot of local counties, and my team actually works a lot of that. So what I've been seeing, a lot of people are calling because being from larger states, especially like we've had a lot of calls from people coming out of bigger cities that like took a plane and came to here. So that was some of the scary phone calls I got this past week. Like, did you travel? Yes, I just got off a plane. So that was unique for me over the last week, really. But the other part of it is some of the folks that are here in town that were thinking about selling did kind of say, I want to wait and see what happens. Yeah. So I've had some of my sellers that were about to put their houses on the market say they want to wait just to see how everything falls out. But a lot of people moving here specifically to get away from larger cities.
I hear you. Awesome. Jessica, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So here's the message that I trust I was able to share with you, and that is the impact on a shift is going to vary market to market. And based on your economic situation or what drives your economy there and the impact it has might vary. Ashley, were you saying something?
No.
Okay. All right. So we've got to understand our local market area. And that's why Gary says we've got to be the local economist of choice. Well, I want us to think about what our role is right now in a shift. And I imagine some of you have been on the calls that we're doing at 8 o'clock in the morning on Facebook and on Zoom. And if you haven't been, I'd love for you to be on. Just go to the Pivot Shift Ahead Facebook page, and we're doing all this stuff on there every morning at 8. And I want us to think about what our responsibility is right now to our people. So we want to make sure that our conversations are in line with what's going on. And we don't want to just call and say, who do you know from church or work that wants to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate? We've got to truly connect. And so there's something I'd like for you, where'd my notebook go? It's right here. Something I'd like for you to write down that was a big aha from me for me rather, that I got from Monica Reynolds this past week. And so do me a favor and just jot this down for me real quick. And that's this: come from the heart. Come from the heart. Come from the heart, have kindness, compassion, and use common sense. Come from the heart, have kindness, compassion, and use common sense. See, we still got to reach out to our people because they're facing an economic shift just like we are. And there are people, in fact, if you have taken a listing or written a buyer agreement in the last 2 weeks, I want you to type it in the box. How many? I want you to type how many listings you've taken and how many buyer agreements that you've done in the last 2 weeks in the chat box, because I want to see. And my guess, business is still happening. Look at them all rolling in right now. Business is still happening. So we don't want to keep ourselves from earning the business that we're typing in this box right now. We'd like to keep the business, and we want to be sensitive to what's happening in the marketplace. So Ashley, here we go. This is how it's going to work. We're going to be interactive again. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. I want to hear from 3 people, Ashley, of how they're connecting to their database while we're facing this economic shift. So raise your hand if you'd like to share. How is it that you're connecting to your base during this shift? Ashley, do we have some hands up?
Yep. The first one.
All right, go ahead.
Fred Conley.
Hi, Fred.
Hey,
so
how are
Fred,
you?
Where are you?
I'm in Jacksonville, Orange Park office.
You're in Orange Park office. Love that office. And so tell me, how are you staying in touch and talking to your people?
I'm just using post-hurricane protocol and calling to check on people, make sure they don't have any needs that haven't been met yet in terms of items they need. Not calling about business at all. It just always goes that direction on its own.
Well, I want to ask you some questions about that. Can you spend a couple minutes with me here?
Sure.
All right. So you are, and we have an advantage, Fred, because we're used to doing care calls, right? Post-hurricane style, like you said.
Sure.
So you call somebody and they answer the phone. What are you opening the call with?
Hey, Mr. and Miss Seller, Mr. and Miss Buyer, how are you doing? I wanted to check on you guys during this time, making sure you had, everything you need. Is everybody healthy?
All right. You're asking how they're doing. Are they healthy? And do you need anything?
Yep.
And most of the people are saying we're good or we need toilet paper or whatever, right?
Yeah, I'd say probably 30% of the calls, they ask what's going on in the real estate market because everybody
Well, that was the question I was going to ask you. So after you've checked on them, they open the real estate door. Is that right?
Yes.
So what happens then?
So the questions vary. Some of the questions are, hey, are things still moving? Or how are you doing? Some of them just turn the question right back around to me, and I just tell them the truth. I'm working from home with the kids every day, and I'm now a homeschool teacher and realtor, and, kind of go back and forth with the conversation. I let them know what I've done the past week. I give them the 24-hour stats out of our MLS. If they ask further, I send over the first quarter report from our MLS because we're also in a different MLS than you guys are. So,
And have you generated have you generated anything for your pipeline down the road based on these care calls?
Yeah, I've got a listing going live tomorrow from the call from a week and a half ago. They wanted to leave and get down to Tampa to get closer to his dad, who's older, so he just wants to be close. It was just an eye opener for him. Someone I sold a house to 5 years ago.
So Fred, let me ask you, and I want your honest answer. So don't tell me what you think I want to hear. Just tell me the truth. That particular individual who you've listed their house and they're going to move down here to Tampa, would you have made that call normally, or was that just because you were making care calls, you reached out to this guy?
He was not on my quarterly call until I think it was July. So I guess no, I wouldn't have made that call now. It would have been in July.
Right. And so you would now his motivation may not have been there either, right?
Right.
Had we not gone through this. And yet you would have missed out on a possible opportunity had you not just gotten in there and made the call.
Right.
Yeah. What prompted you to call him specifically? So what was the way that you decided who you were going to call and when you were going to call him?
So I've always, I was around the first shift also. This is my 16th year. So what I decided to do was focus on the people that had bought within the last 5 years. And he was right on that cusp. And his last name started with a B. So he was literally one of the first people that got called.
You were going in alphabetical order, Fred. I'm so proud of you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was not doing the move because I was just like, you know what, I'm going to start at the top and work my way till I get to the bottom. And I still haven't got to the bottom yet. So I've just one of those things.
So the last question is just what lesson have you learned in the last 10 days?
Need to call more people when I can.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Fred. Appreciate you. Ashley, is there one more with their hand up?
Let's, we have Paula. Oops, I just muted you, Paula. Hold on.
I see her. She's here. She's unmuted. Paula, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome. So tell us, where are you?
I'm in St. Augustine, Florida.
Okay, good. So another one of you kind of up there in the what I call South Georgia. And so tell me what it's looked like for you.
Well, I just came on board with Keller Williams in September, so I'm pretty excited about what's happening in this shift because I was so busy driving business. I wasn't taking the time to really focus on a lot of the training that's been offered until this shift happened. And in my previous brokerage, I've been in the business for 6 years here. I was never taught to lead by profit or taught about numbers. I was never taught about the reports and knowing the numbers in my market or any of this stuff. So this has been huge for me, and we will survive this shift, and we are going to thrive on the other side because of all this amazing training that is happening at Keller Williams.
I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, Paula. I want to say a couple things there in the chat box. Now, y'all are typing so fast, I have to go back up. John in Sarasota, I love him. And he says, we're making care calls and we're offering Zoom calls for events because events are a huge thing for John and his team. So they're doing virtual breakfast meetings, virtual bingo, and they're even doing a comedian on Zoom. It's great to connect with your people. Then there was another one up here. Cassie, I can't see her last name, said, this happened to me this week as well. She's referencing back to what Fred talked about. Found out a buyer who I sold to last year, one family because she lost her job. It's a listing that she didn't expect to be there. Here's the deal. The business is there. Business is absolutely there. And we have a responsibility to check in with our people. We have to call them. We got to make sure they're doing all right. And I want you to think about something. And that is now, Ashley, put in the notes, we're on PDF, the manual now, this one, not the book, page 13. We're on page 13. I want you to think about where your top 10 most motivated sellers are coming from. So think about the last year, and you can either type it in the chat box or I can hear from you. In the last year, where are your top 10 most motivated sellers coming from? And if you can't, 4 or 5, where are your most motivated sellers coming from? April says downsize. Okay, so maybe write that down, right? And when I say where are they coming from, I don't necessarily mean like where did they move? How would you categorize them? Are they move up? Are they downsize? Are they reload? Stuff like that. So I want you to kind of make a list, and then somebody who has a real good idea of their list, maybe their top 4 or 5, I'd like for you to raise your hand. I want to have a quick conversation with you. How would you categorize the lead sources of your top 10, 5 to 10 most motivated sellers? Ashley, do we have any hands up?
I do not have any hands up yet. I don't see any hands.
No worries. As soon as one comes up, let me know because I want to walk through a conversation with somebody. Top 10 lead sources. I see Sphere. I see Relo, retirement, divorce, retirement. Yeah, we're in Florida. Seniors, retiring in Relo. Anybody, any hands up?
Okay,
Ashley?
I got one. One
All
just
right, who is it?
Carmen Huffstetler.
Hi, Carmen. How are you? Oh, still muted. Carmen's still muted. Yeah, I see here. There we go. Carmen, how are you?
I'm awesome.
Where are you?
Full shirt.
So what part of Florida are you in?
I'm in the Brandon, Valrico area.
Got it. So Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
And tell me a little about, if you were to categorize your most motivated seller types, if you're going to put them in little groups, how would you group them?
They were definitely downsizers.
Downsizers.
Different age groups too. It wasn't just, I mean, I had from like a retired person to, you know, like 80s to 60s to early 40s.
Interesting. Here's the question I'd like to ask you. Really important question. When you are lead generating, do you lead generate specifically for people who are looking to downsize?
No.
Okay, so see, that would be, and that was the answer I expected. So thank you for telling me the truth. I think the thing to think about in a market like this, and thank you very much, by the way, for sharing. Ashley, you can mute her. Thank you for sharing. The thing to think about in a market like this is, does your lead generation strategy match where you're finding your business? So if you are in, you know, say you're in Sarasota, and we go back to our person from Sarasota who said they're talking to people who want to sell their investment, you know, beach condos, their vacation rentals, and they just want to cash out. Then how are you specifically lead generating to that group? Like if I were making my calls and that's where I'm getting my business right now, then my first care call may be to that group of people. If Fred's still able to be unmuted, if you could unmute Fred, because Fred, if you're still there, I want to ask you a question.
I'm here.
So, okay, Fred. So Fred, you know, if you look at it, you were specific about being that 5-year group. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me a little bit about how you picked group, why you targeted that group, because it's some business.
Merely just the size of my database. I just joined Keller in September, so I'm just getting acclimated to all of the systems that I've been lacking, if you will. So I had to get 2,900 people narrowed down to a list that I can manage right now.
Yeah. Starting with 5 years and more, or 5 years less?
5 years or less, because we're a heavy military town too.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Thank you so much, Fred. So that was a strategy, and that turned into opportunity. Thank you, Wentz, for telling me it was Leslie in Inglewood who found that with the investors, right? So I think we got to figure out, as you're making your care calls, how can you target the care calls so the ones who may turn into opportunity right now are the ones you talk to first, and the ones who might turn into opportunity later are the ones you talk to second. All right, so I want to get your ahas on what we've talked about so far. Then I'm going to cover one more thing and then give you some homework for tomorrow. So first, give me a thumbs up or something if you've gotten some value out of this, or type yes or no in the little chat box if you've gotten some value, because I want to make sure I'm sending you the right direction. And type in your chat box or raise your hand, and I'd like to hear 2 or 3 things you've already learned in our first hour from today. So raise your hand or type in the chat box, what have you learned? So Ashley, let me know when we have a hand up, and I'll monitor the chat box.
James, look at all of that. Woo, woo, woo.
I know it. Look at them all coming in. They're loving it. I love that Ryan says the aha is there's still opportunity. And that's, Georgia, that's always the lesson in a shift, is that there's always an opportunity, right? So I love that. Thank you, Ryan, for saying that. Joe says he needs another hour. Too bad you get 30 minutes, Joe. Come back tomorrow. Chris says, I like the last 5-year calls. Yeah, call the buyers from the last 5 years. I think Fred gave us great info on that. Ashley, do we have any hands up?
Yes, Lisa Spencer.
Lisa Spencer, I love you. We worked together during a shift before. I remember standing there on the 2nd floor of the South Tampa training room watching the stock market crash, and it felt like the next day we were out of business, Lisa.
Yes, James, we have been through a lot together for sure.
We have. We've done it. What's the lesson for you so far? What do you want to share with our people?
Well, what I love is that you made this so locally relevant, even though we had to spread the whole state of Florida. So thank you so much for taking the break from the book and really making it relevant for all of us.
Well, your gratitude, real quick, Lisa, real quick, your gratitude goes to Georgia. This said, let's do something, and not all the regions are doing that. So thank you, and thank you, Lisa, for that perspective. And keep going.
And also, my daughter and I, Rachel, who took over my real estate business, went on a listing appointment yesterday. I'm helping out the Seminole office these days, and we are encouraging our agents to take appointments. Just take them for 60 days out. Don't get away from, I can't take appointments. You can take appointments. Take them for later.
Yeah, we build that pipeline, Lisa. Love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Great to hear your voice.
I appreciate you.
As
You
well.
too.
I got to meet her on the shift tour last year. Ashley, is there another hand up? I'll take one more.
Hey, James, while we're getting
Yeah, Georgia.
came up on, well, something that came up on a call the other day, because, you know, a lot of our local restaurants and businesses are not thriving. And there's an opportunity for maybe us as realtors to go out and buy some gift cards, even if like $10 gift cards to local restaurants. And then what if you were to call your seller and get all of your information and update your command to our community, you $10 gift card or $15 gift card.
Yeah, I'm having trouble here in Georgia. I don't know if it's on my end or on. And I think, though, you're right, to support the businesses. I know some are using them as closing gifts now, even like a gift card to a local place as a closing gift or something like that. So, Ashley, is there another hand raised?
Yes, we have Kim.
Hi, James.
Hey, Kim, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm doing great. So I got into real estate with Keller Williams a few years back, but I was only doing it very sporadically related to my personal investment properties. And I had some things happen associated with this shift that have kicked my rear into high gear. And I want to say that I got my first buyer agreement yesterday, and I only started, really focusing 2 weeks ago. But what I take from this call is that I have to pay attention to what's happening in the inventory from all of you wise realtors out there. I thought prices might go down, but maybe it's going to go up because the inventory is tighter. So I want to watch inventory.
And Kim, I don't know what prices are going to do. If I know, right? I probably wouldn't be doing the class. I'd be making money.
No, right. But it's something we need to just keep watching.
We absolutely do, because I don't know. I'm told that prices are going to drop drastically, especially not in the short term, because inventory shrinks and we still have serious buyers. Kim, here's the last thing I want to look at today, and then I am going to give you a little bit of homework. The last thing I want to look at today is the other part of shift. We spent the first hour talking about the economic shift. There's also a value shift. And honestly, here's where I think you can win. I think you can show up differently here. PDF page 15. Ashley, type that in the box. PDF page, don't get scared, Sam, when I say homework. It's not that. PDF page 15 is where I am right now. And it says your proposition in a shift. And I want you to think about for a minute, what is some of the value that we can offer, if you're in the Keller Williams family, that people couldn't get otherwise right now? What value can we offer? What and what do we have in front of us to be able to support our people that maybe other people don't have? I want you to type some box of value that we can offer right now. Wendy Hughes, I love Wendy Hughes. How are you, Wendy? Good to see your name. Says Keller offers. Look, all the other places closed strong, right? So thank you so much. We have the data of what's going on, and I love that. I think that's so smart. We've got training. How about the training that has just taken off over the last couple of weeks? People saying Keller Mortgage. I love all of that as well. Are there any hands?
I do not have any hands raised.
All right, just let me know. Just interrupt me if we do. We have our app and the neighborhood stuff. Love that. Go ahead, Ashley.
Somebody just did. Jessica Donald.
Okay, Jessica, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. So where are you? What market?
I'm actually in Winter Haven, 62. I'm a new agent. I just recently came on at the last week of February, right into March. So I came into this right in the middle of it.
You picked the best time.
I believe so. And the value that I do see, because I was studying for, it took me about a year to get my real estate license. But basically, the value that I do see from shopping around, you know, just what broker to go with, was the training that we have with Keller Williams. And not only that, but we have a lot of experienced realtors with lots of knowledge that feed into us new agents. And that is, I mean, I appreciate that so much. I just do.
Yeah, we are fortunate. We're blessed. In times like these, leadership has acted quickly to make sure we're planning and changing with the times, and that is value. And so I want you to think about, as you're talking to your people, what value can you offer to your that nobody else can? Because the only thing that is unique to you that nobody else has is your database and your relationships. And so think about value that you can offer. Right now, it's all about adding value. And in your local area, they might need from you might vary based on where you are. So think about, you know, do you know what grocery store has toilet paper? If you're in a place, in Florida, we have schools closed until the 15th, and my guess would be we'll get an announcement in the next couple of days that will be out through at least the end of April. And so what resources can you point people to that might help them with that? In fact, Georgia, since I have the mic, I'm going to mention, I have 4 podcast episodes on my podcast called Positive for Parents about how to run homeschool in your family right now, because info on that, just look for Positively Dad, and thank you for the plug, to be able to check out some of that info. Think about what someone says, I'm hearing realtors are hitting the snooze button. Don't do that. Right now is the time to smile and dial, talk to your people, and build mind share now, build market share later. That's really important. Mind share now so you can do market share later. All right, let me cover one. There's a hand.
I have one more hand. It was just
I'll take
raised
it. I'll take the hand.
Okay. Wiki.
Go ahead. Who's there?
Wiki, are you there?
Who is it?
I'm here. James, this is Wiki.
Yes.
You hear me?
Hi there.
Hey James, I took your class in Jacksonville. It was awesome, and what you were just talking about is a big deal, because when I think about how we could really bring value is the relationships from our dad and all the vendors and people where people might have needs, we might have the answer for that. And if we sitting on our hands and we're not smiling and dialing, then we're not really giving them the service that they deserve.
Yeah, we can't.
The second thing was,
go ahead, please.
Sorry, this James is if you could say again the part about your Positively Dad podcast or website, because in the last 2 days in my care calls, I've gotten requests from parents saying, hey, I've got 3 kids in school and I've never been a homeschool teaching parent, and I don't know how to help my kids through this. So if you could talk more about that, that's going to help.
Well, I'll just, so yeah, it is called Positively Dad. You're welcome to share it. I've put the website, the name, and the Instagram and her handle in the chat box or on Facebook too. Thank you for asking about it. And it's just a resource to help. And I think that's part of our deal. We've got to think about how can we be a resource to be able to help our people right now. We had somebody on a call last week where the person they called said, hey, I just need paper towels and toilet paper. And the agent said, well, go to an office supply store instead of Publix, right? Because Publix is running out of it and Home Depot still has it. So just knowing different things and resources is of value. Thanks for sharing. Okay, so Dave, to answer your question, will tomorrow be more structured? Dave wants to know, is it going to be more structured? Yes. Today is the opening conversation, and if you look at my screen right now, you'll see the structured content begins tomorrow. And the structured content is literally diving in section by section of the Shift book. And we're going to look at all 12 tactics at a 30,000 foot view, and then I'm going to dive into 2 or 3 of them at a pretty intimate view. So here's what I'd like you to see. There are 12 tactics in the book, and some of you have read the book and some of you haven't read the book. And this is where your homework's going to come in this week. I'm going to assign each of you a chapter to review. And if you don't have the book, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. You might even just Google the little chapter that I gave you and see what you come up with. So I'm going to give you a chapter based on your last name for you to go and review. And then next week, or I'm sorry, tomorrow, you're going to answer some questions on it. So everyone, make sure you write down the PDF. And Ashley, what I'm going to ask you to do is, can we email out the PDF of the handout to everybody one more time, of the workbook, because they'll need it for this little homework assignment. And I'm going to walk through. Does that sound good? Can we send it out to them?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. And then if you were, so we're going to send the PDF out to everybody again of the workbook. Now, as far as the Shift book goes, you cannot buy a hard copy of the Shift book right now. It's basically impossible unless your market center has them. So the hard copy of this book is sold out on Amazon and Keller Inc. And if you have an e-reader, you can still get it. So you can still get it if you have an e-reader, so do it from there. Now, here's the deal. The book has 12 tactics that we've got to look at in a shifting market. And I'm going to assign you one, like I said, today. Tomorrow, you're going to answer some questions. The tactics are this. Number 1, get real and get right, and that's about your mindset. You know, if your mindset isn't where it's supposed to be, then nothing's going to happen for you, right? So you absolutely have got to have your mindset in the right spot. Number 2, remargin your business, expense management. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. You've got to cut expenses immediately. That's urgent. It requires your attention right away. Number 3 is the leverage chapter. Do more with less. Making sure if you have a team that everyone's functioning at a high level and doing the right things. And if you don't have a team, if it's just you, are your systems set up the way they need to be? Chapter 4 is lead generation. Find the motivated. Folks, we still got to lead generate even in a market like this. It's really important. Tactic number 5 is lead conversion. Get a table, the virtual table, if you will, making sure that the people you talk to actually turn into business. Tactic 6, catch people in your web, internet lead generation. Now, keep in mind that when you read some of the logistics in the book, that book was written in 2009. So the way we do things is different. The model is still the same. You're going to see that. Tactic number is pricing, making sure we're on the front end of pricing. We heard samples on that already. Tactic number 8 is staging. How do we showcase a property? What are we doing for videos, for pictures, for staging of it? I love that. Tactic number 9 is creating buyer urgency. And in other words, reminding them of motivation and how to have that conversation. Number 10 is financing, expanding the options. 11 is mastering the market of the moment. And then finally, tactic 12 is bulletproofing the transaction. In other words, how do we keep them all together right now as people might get a little bit nervous? So now there we go. On the screen, here is how you know which topic you're going to do. This is so fun. And in fact, Ashley, it might be good when we send out the PDF, maybe to send them this list as well. So maybe you want to grab a picture of it or something, Ashley, so they know what page they're supposed to do. Does that work?
Got it.
Awesome, because we're making this up as we go. So every person's assigned one tactic, and there are 2 or 3 questions on the corresponding page number. So if your last name starts with A or W, then you're on tactic number 1. Is tactic 1. If your last name starts with B or E, your tactic number 2. And the questions you're going to answer are on page 21 of the workbook, the PDF that Ashley will send out. Tactic 3, D and O. So if your last name starts with D or O, you do tactic 3, and your questions are on page 23. Tactic 4 is find the motivated, and I've given you 4 last names for that one: H, V, Y, and Z. And you can see your questions are on page 23. If your last name starts with C or K, you are lead conversion, page 25. F, G, internet lead generation, page 25. M, X, price ahead of the market, page 27. N and R, page 27, seller staging. S and U is buyer urgency, page 29. P and L, creative financing, page 29. T and J, market of the moment, page 31. And I and Q is bulletproofing the transaction, page 31. So here's what you do. You go read that chapter, the chapter that I assigned you, if you have the book. If you don't have the book, just do the best you can. And then you have 2 or 3 questions to answer on the page I've listed for you in the workbook. And tomorrow when we come back, what we're going to do is just go down each of the 12 tactics. We'll dive into the workbook. We'll hear some answers from 1 or 2 people on each category so that you all can complete the whole workbook. And here's how we're going to read the entire shift book in 24 hours. Every person, 1,000. How many do we have? We have 1,033 people. All 1,033 of you will be able to read this shift book in 24 hours if we follow this model. If you have a question, let me know. Send me a note. I'll walk you through it. You're going to answer 2 to 3 questions on the topic that I just assigned to you on the corresponding page. Ashley, do you think that made sense?
Yes, I got it. I got the notes. I'm going to send out an email to everybody. It'll be okay.
Go ahead, Ashley. What were you saying?
I said I got it. I'm going to send out an email to everyone, so no worries.
Perfect. So you just read your chapter if you have the book. If you don't have the book, don't stress. Do the best you can and answer the questions. Well, Ashley, that's day 1. What do you think? Are we off to a good start?
Awesome. I loved it.
So I want to hear some ahas from people. What have you learned today? I want you to type them in the box. I'm going to pull up my chat box if I can find it. Type them in the box and then raise your hand too if you've got a thought of an aha. Who wants to share an aha? Raise your hand and share with me. What did you get out of our conversation today? Ashley, any hands up?
Yes, I have a hand up. Franklin Mateo.
Okay, Franklin, go ahead.
Hey, James, it's Franklin here in the Hunters Creek Market Center in Orlando. Big aha and contribution to bring to our center of influence is the power of knowledge. Knowing that we are in a shift. I started in the business back in 2006, end of 2006, 7. And right there we went into a shift. And believe it or not, back then, I didn't even know what a shift was. I didn't know that we were in a shift. I just thought that market was getting bad. So now knowing that we are in a shift, knowing what a shift is, I think that's powerful.
I love it. Thank you so much. That's a great aha. Ashley, I love this one from Jessica. Oh, I just lost it. I have to go find it. She basically said, look, she thought she was kind of isolated because she's a newer agent. And what she's discovered is we're all going through the same thing. I think that's a really great aha to have. Here's one that says, call your database and ask small business owners. You can buy gift card certificates to use after this is over. I thought that was great. A lot of people are saying they're getting motivation. I love that as well. Are there any other hands raised?
Yes, I have Alan McLaughlin.
Hey, Alan. So what's your aha from our conversation so far this morning?
Hi, everybody.
Your signal's kind of going in and out. We'll give you one more shot at it. All right, Ashley, we'll move on to the next person because we couldn't hear them. Is there another one?
Yeah, let's go to Sandy Barney.
Sandy, what you got?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Good morning. Yes, well, I got a lot of ahas, but one was, does your lead generation strategy match where you're finding your business? I think that's really
I love that aha for you, right? This is important. I'll let you continue. I just want to say, when you're going and making your care calls, make sure we're calling the people who might turn into business first. Good aha. Keep going.
Yes, that is a big aha for me because not only am I very referral based, but I also work with a lot of relocation clients. So definitely just focusing on that. And like you said, you know, doing the care calls. Even somebody mentioned care text messages as well.
Yeah, we can text. There's nothing wrong with a text. Hey, I'm thinking about you, wanted to check in. And if I were going to give you a model for that, I'd go, let's call them first and then text them second, right? So let's make a call first. If we don't reach them, follow up with a text, because voice to voice matters right now. I want to read, thank you very much. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. Even making a video, a personal video, and sending it to through text and email.
You got it. Genius. Thank you. I love you in the most appropriate way. Wendy Hughes, one of my favorites, says, we always tell sellers and buyers that information is power. We certainly want power as well, so we need to make sure we have as much information as possible to empower each of us. Love that. Faith says, business is here for us. Be a local leader. Educate the database. And when this is over, business will explode. When you gain mind share, Faith, right now, you are gaining market share later. And here's the attitude I've had about it. The decisions that we make, the activities that you do right now will bring you one of two things when we get out of this intense part of what we're experiencing right now. And those two things are either a bill or a check. And you get to pick based on the activities and decisions you make now. When we get out of this and it goes back to more of a normal moving through the world life, are you going to get a check from the activities that you've done right now or a bill from the activities that you've done right now? Faith, I love it. Let's see, Ashley, focus on the lead sources that will generate the most business. Yeah, I agree with you. Ashley, is there another hand up?
Yes, let's go. I don't have a last name, but I just have Diane.
Okay, Diane, where are you from?
I am from Claremont, Florida.
Awesome.
Right outside of
Orlando. Tell us a little bit about your aha.
Okay, well, my aha, I have been so busy. I haven't even almost had time to listen to what's going on. I have to make time to listen. I've been getting listings. I've gotten contracts even during all this. I work in the 55 plus market almost exclusively, and I'm busy.
Yeah. Well, that's the aha. There's still business out there. And if
There's
you
still
were,
business out there.
right, if you watched the book club session that Jay Papasan and I did last Tuesday, Jay pointed out that the number is never zero. You are never going to log into your MLS and there's going to be 0 listings taken, 0 pendings, and 0 closings. The number will never be 0. Love it. Thank you for sharing. Here's one. Dobbs says, don't let this shift or change get you down. Keep focused. Things will get better. Use this time to get more educated and show compassion and keep calling. Ashley, I'll take one more aha and then I'll talk about how tomorrow is going to work.
Okay, Lisa Simpson.
Lisa. Is she there?
She's there, but it won't let me unmute. Let me try somebody else.
Okay, no worries.
How about Sherry Norris?
Hi, Sherry Norris. There we go. Sherry, you're unmuted now. What you got?
Hey, thank you for your. My aha son all the way through kindergarten, all the way through high school. He graduated, and so when you talked about homeschooling the kids, I'm going to call my clients that have children and talk to them.
Yeah. Sherry, we got to add value, right? At the end of the day, we've got to add value to our people. Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate you. All right, so let's wrap up with this. First of all, thank you. Thank you, George Alpazar. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, North Florida Region. Thank you, OPs and team leaders for allowing me to do this with you. I am so excited to go on this journey, and I'm excited to jump in the tactics tomorrow. So your homework is to read the one chapter that we gave you, just the one little chapter, and answer your 2 or 3 questions on the corresponding page. And I've left this up this whole time to help you. When we come in tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, we're going to start right away, and we're going to get into each chapter very quickly and answer these questions so you have a completed book and you basically read the book, right? Then we're going to start to dive in to 2 or 3 of the chapters at a deep level to talk about what you can be doing right now to make sure you're taking advantage of this shift, that it truly is an opportunity for you. Now, a couple of questions people asked. What's the book club? The book club is the Shift Book Club, and you can get into it by going to the Pivot Shift Ahead Facebook page. Pivot Shift Ahead Facebook page. You can access it there. It's also on KW Connect. You can get to it through there as well. And I want to end with these words, and then Georgia and Ashley, I'll open it up to you if you want to do any housekeeping. I want to just end today's session with these words. Here's what Gary says on page 274 of the Shift book, and that is this: the good, the bad, the hard, and the easy all work together to shape the person you become. Don't wish your life away. Embrace every moment. Think of a shift as an opportunity. Price Pritchett says, change always comes bearing gifts. I believe this is true. Change can surprise us with gifts it can bring. And there are gifts ahead for us as long as we can keep our mindset in the right spot. All right, Georgia and Ashley, that's it for today. What did you think? Did we do an okay job?
I think you did an amazing job.
I think we did amazing.
So what do we want to just add to the people? Ashley, your signal is really good. So is there any housekeeping you want to share with the people before?
Yeah, I've gotten a couple of comments of, the connection. I just want to put a friendly reminder out there that there are a lot of Zoom calls going on, not only ours, but all over. What I did before I got this started was I turned all of our cell phones to non-Wi-Fi and anything that I wasn't using to be able to get the best connection possible. So, we apologize for some things that went in and out. However, there are a lot of people on Zoom, and we're doing the best we can with this.
Yeah, no worries. I think that it's just, in fact, Zoom posted a thing today that says they're going to downgrade the quality of the video and stuff like that at times of high use, just so that they can keep running as well. Have they experienced quite the shift? So you know what? We're all doing the best we can. And even if you only get bits and pieces, you still learn something. Right, Ashley?
That's right. That's
all right. Any other housekeeping you want to mention?
James, I heard you. Ashley, are we recorded this, right?
Yes, I did record it.
So you'll be sending it out to everybody, and it's really important that they keep it for themselves. This is not a big we're bringing this to them personally.
Yeah, this is a gift of the shift, right, Georgia, that you're providing for your people.
Right.
Yeah.
So don't if you get a recorded link, don't put it on Facebook or anything like this.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah. All right, Georgia, thank you so much. Ashley, anything else?
No, I think we are good. We are so excited for you guys. Thank you so much.
You got it. I'm going to give everyone my contact info if you need me. Contact info, I'll type it in the thing so everybody can see it. If the computer will let me. Here we go. There we go. All right, here's my cell phone number. You're welcome to text me. Don't call me, okay? Did you hear that? Text me. All right, here's my cell phone number, 813-523-8459. 813-523-8459. And Instagram is a great spot to connect if you have a question. So I'm putting my IG in here as well. All right, Ashley, we're done.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 9 o'clock, guys.
You got it. Bye, everybody.